Daily readings for January 10th, Feast Day of Saint Pope Agatho. Born towards the end of the 6th century in Sicily, died in Rome 681. It is generally believed that Agatho was originally a Benedictine monk at St. Hermes in Palermo, and there is good authority that he was more than 100 years old when, in 678, he ascended the papal chair as successor to Pope Donus. At a synod, which Pope Agatho convoked in a Lateran to investigate the affair, Wilfrid was restored to his see. The chief event of Agatho's pontificate is, however, the Sixth Ecumenical Council, held at Constantinople in 680, at which the papal legates presided and which practically ended the Monolithite heresy. Our first reading is from the first book of Samuel, chapter 3. Speak, Lord, your servant is listening. The boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord in the presence of Eli. It was rare for the Lord to speak in those days. Visions were uncommon. One day it happened that Eli was laying down in his room. His eyes were beginning to grow dim. He could no longer see. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying in the sanctuary of the Lord, where the ark of God was. When the Lord called, "Samuel, Samuel," he answered, "Here I am." Then he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, since you called me." Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lay down." So he went and lay down. Once again the Lord called, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, since you called me." He replied, "I did not call you, my son. Go back and lay down." Samuel has yet no knowledge of the Lord, and the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. Once again the Lord called the third time. He got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, since you called me." Eli then understood that it was the Lord who was calling the boy, and he said to Samuel, "Go and lie down, and if someone calls, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. The Lord then came and stood by, calling as he had done before, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel answered, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." Samuel grew up, and the Lord was with him, and let no word of his fall to the ground. All Israel from Dan to Beersheba came to know that Samuel was accredited as a prophet of the Lord. From Psalms chapter 40. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. I waited for the Lord, and he stooped down to me. He heard my cry. Happy the man who has placed his trust in the Lord, and has not gone over to the rebels who follow false gods. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. You do not ask for sacrifice and offerings, but an open ear. You do not ask for holocaust and victim. Instead, here am I. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. In the scroll of the book it stands written that I should do your will. My God, I delight in your law, in the depth of my heart. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. Your justice I have proclaimed in the great assembly. My lips I have not sealed. You know it, O Lord. Here I am, Lord. I come to do your will. Alleluia, alleluia. Let the message of Christ in all its richness find a home with you. Through him give thanks to God the Father. Alleluia. A reading from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 1. He cast out devils and cured many who were suffering from disease. On leaving the synagogue, Jesus went with James and John straight to the house of Simon and Andrew. Now Simon's mother-in-law had gone to bed with fever, and they told him about her straight away. He went to her, took her by the hand and helped her up, and the fever left her and she began to wait on them. That evening after sunset they brought to him all who were sick and those who were possessed by devils. The whole town came crowding round the door, and he cured many who were suffering from diseases of one kind or another. He also cast out many devils, but he would not allow them to speak because they knew who he was. In the morning, long before dawn, he got up and left the house, and went off to a lonely place and prayed there. Simon and his companions set out in search of him, and when they found him, they said, "Everyone is looking for you." He answered, "Let us go elsewhere to the neighboring country towns, so that I can preach there too, because this is why I came." And he went all through Galilee, preaching in all their synagogues and casting out devils. Praise be to you, O Lord Jesus Christ.